Welcome back. This video is part of a series on these wireless charging nightstands that I built, and this portion is going to be focused on the electronics. And when I was overthinking the details of the electronics, I had in mind that I wanted to keep a solid top. I did not want a router into the top. I wanted wireless charging, but I wanted to be able to adapt that wireless charging in the future. I also wanted a clear phone location that I could not only see, but that I could feel in the middle of the night where I might need to set my phone so that I make sure I hit that charger. I wanted several outlets available so I could charge all of my different devices, and I wanted to keep a really classic, timeless look. Even though my phone is all cracked up, watching this light up just gives me so much satisfaction. One thing I hate about my current nightstand is I end up with my phone charger and my Kindle and all this junk on top, and I want to be able to keep this clear. So I wanted all the power to be running in this shelf so I can actually just have my Kindle, iPad, things like that just charging on that lower shelf, and I'll always be able to keep this open. This allows me to also run a cord out if I wanted a lamp or something on top of here that required power as well. The first board on this shelf is made out of solid oak and it is completely removable. All I have to do is tap it from underneath to be able to get that out and rebuild it or modify it as our technology changes. The built-in power strip includes 2 regular outlets and 3 USB ports. This allows me to keep all of the clutter on just this shelf, and when it's lit up you can see it, but when it's not all lit up, then you really don't even notice it. I ended up making 2 sets of these because I started with the hand router, which actually worked a little bit faster and easier than using my router table, but it was a lot messier. So by the time I got to the second design, something that I preferred, I did use the router table. But the hand router is just as easy. So I just traced out my phone, and then I just took shallow passes with my hand router and just kept, going a little bit deeper with each pass. The top, it's not a real deep groove, but for the bottom part, you do have to router out until you're down to about 1/8 of an inch of wood between the charger and the phone. For the back of the board, I really needed to make sure that I found the center of where the phone would be. So I just kind of followed the lines around, straightened them out, and then just made big X's to assure that I was at the center. Then I roughly traced out the charger itself and used a compass to make a little bit prettier circle, even though this is something that no one's going to see. And with the hand router, I certainly wasn't perfect anyway. It took a lot of very messy passes to get this routed out deep enough. After I completed this and realized that it did work, I decided that putting just a plate in there would be more obvious, and I wanted this to be really, really subtle. So that's when I decided to make the charging part out of the entire first board so that you would never be able to tell that this was a removable object. It was actually pretty handy that I made the little set first because I was able to use those as kind of a template. So I was able to kind of set up just how far over I needed to put my stop block. And then I also just made a mark at where I wanted it to start. So I'm going to just kind of drop it down on top and then push it towards the block and then move the fence back a little bit, drop it down on top right at my line and push it to the stop block. As you can see, where I dropped it down wasn't always perfect, but it sanded out and looks just fine. For the bottom, I want to use my router table because it was so messy to get so much depth off with the hand router, but there's no way with stop blocks to actually just make a circle. So instead, I'm going to make a little template, and I'm just going to cut this out with the bandsaw. And for each board, one is going to be for like the right side of the bed, one of them is going to be for the left side of the bed. So the phone has to be toward the bed, so they're kind of like mirror images. So I just had to be careful to make sure that I had it the correct direction, and the part that's going to be the cord out had the cord, going towards the back of what would be the nightstand. Once I've like triple checked that I'm on the right side of the board and have the cord going out the correct direction, I just simply taped this on. You could obviously use double stick tape too. I just didn't happen to have any at the moment. And here I'm just going to again take several shallow passes until I have this down to that 1/8 inch, and obviously double check and make sure that the charger will transmit. Next, I simply marked out where the groove was going to be. It obviously wouldn't have to be this wide of a groove, but I just simply didn't want to change the bit in my router table. So I'm just going to make a shallow groove and then make it a little bit deeper where the cord is so that the part that plugs into the charger is able to be nice and flush. To install the power strip, I'm just going to mark out the rectangle that I need to cut out, and as well as the spot where I want the hole to be for the cord to come up from the wireless charger. Then I'm just going to drill 4 holes in the corners and then cut that rectangle out with my little jigsaw. The footage of that is terrible because I had the jigsaw near where the camera is, so the camera's shaking all over, so I won't make you watch that. So once I get this power strip into its location, I'm going to use a self-centering drill bit. It's certainly not necessary, but it definitely helps to assure that it doesn't end up moving or shifting at all. So I think this turned out really nice. The phone spot's really subtle, and that beginning board does not look like it's just some temporary piece. The first wireless charging video that I ever watched was Brad's video over at Fix This Build That, and he used hot glue to hold this in, which I thought was just such a simple idea. So Brad's never going to see this video, but hey, thanks, Brad. Anyway, it would have been a lot easier if my hot glue gun wasn't ancient and my hot glue ancient, but with a little bit of frustrating work, it did eventually get the job done. So to fix this in the future, if I ever need to change this out, all I have to do is, take the drawers out, lay it on its backside and tap that board out, and then I can modify it any way that I need to, and I'll always have a really nice, solid, classic, but futuristic type nightstand. Thanks for sticking with me through these series. I'm very excited to have these nightstands, hopefully forever. And I'm always learning and trying to grow, so I always welcome any feedback that you might have. Have an awesome day.